Welcome, my name is Søren Christensen and you are listening to Biz in Poland podcast episode 8, and this week's subject is how to handle the language barrier in Poland and about the importance of translation. Enough chit-chat, let's get down to business. The Polish language is very difficult and it is without a doubt one of the reasons why many are not going into the Polish market at all. It's a shame because first of all, it's not that difficult to deal with the language barrier if you do it the right way, and secondly, Poland is a huge market with its almost 38 million people. But how do we handle it? Well, if you are having a web shop and want to expand to the Polish market, for example, then you must have native speakers writing your product and service descriptions. First of all, the grammar is very difficult in Polish because there are, for example, 14 different ways to write the number 2, and secondly, there are many words for the same situation, etc. So try to find Polish speakers, for example, online. It can be, for example, freelancers that they have proved that they can speak and translate text from, for example, English to Polish. And of course, it is extra good if this person has experience regarding writing product descriptions. And remember, in Poland, it is, as everywhere, important to have unique texts, so Google and other search engines will not punish your web shop's ranking because of duplicate content. But translation is not just translation in Poland. If you need to have official documents translated, you need to hire a sworn translator, and the same goes for official company documents, for instance, if you are establishing a new company here in Poland. The documents will not be approved as valid if it's not translated by a sworn translator in Poland. If you need a sworn translator for official documents, then be aware that it's much more expensive than just a so-called normal translator. If you're doing business in Poland and you don't know Polish, you need to hire some Polish speakers. Also for a normal day business task, at least in the beginning of your business adventure here in Poland. There's more information regarding this in the show notes, also a link to my recommendations for sworn translators.
Business news from Poland, put on the fortune and broke scale.
In this week's fortune and broke scale, the bad news is that increases in food prices will accelerate even more in the first quarter of 2022. This is because the production cost of products, packaging, raw materials and semi-finished products are rising. In addition, interrupted global supply chains also causes problems with the availability of certain products. As indicated by the official Polish Statistics Institution, short called GOS, the data showed in December 2021 that the prices of food and non-alcoholic beverages were 8.6% higher than a year earlier. However, this is only at average, and for some products you have to pay a dozen or even several dozen percent more than in December 2020. Unfortunately, that shows that I was correct regarding the inflation in my podcast episode about my predictions for Poland and Polish business in 2022. I hope that it will end soon, the high prices, but unfortunately I don't think so. The news on the fortune scale this week is that 2020 the number of work permits in Poland exceeded 400,000 to expats, and there are more jobs to get also for foreigners. Because the growing number of visitors does not meet the current needs of entrepreneurs, a lot of Polish factories and trading companies, including every third company from the industrial and trade sector, are announcing that they're searching for foreign workers. According to Eurostate's data, in 2020 there were 23 million people from the outside of the EU within the borders of the EU, which is 5% of the population and a valuable human resource for the EU member countries. The majority of foreigners working in Poland are citizens of Ukraine. 72.6% of all working foreigners are from Ukraine. Belarusians are in second position, less than 7%, followed by the citizens of Georgia and India, 2% each. That was this week's Fortune and Broke Scale news from the business life in Poland. I hope that was enlightening, and the same goes for how to handle the language barrier in Poland from a business point of view. There is, as mentioned, more information in the show notes regarding how to handle the Polish language barrier. The show notes you can, for example, find at bizinpoland.com, where you can also read about my services. Thanks for listening, and remember to subscribe to the Biz in Poland podcast, and take care.